The June 28th, 2010 meeting of the Agenda Charter Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call a roll?
Mr. Barker is excused. Mr. Eckel? Mr. Esposito? Here. Mr. Howland? Here. Chairman Yolovich?
Here.
President Adair?
Here.
Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
No, there is not.
I don't see anybody in the gallery, so I don't suppose they'll want to speak. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. You have the April 26, 2010 minutes before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified by the end of the day. The next item on the agenda is new business.
Referral 10-187, reinstate the popular annual financial report for Monroe County.
Moved by Legislator Eckel, second by Legislator Esposito. I see the maker of the resolution is here. Mr. Monroe, would you care to speak, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before this fine committee and the rest of my colleagues in the legislature. I'll keep my comments brief because I'm sure everyone has better things to do than listen to me talk. I'd like to begin by indicating just a few reasons for proposing the referral, but to put it simply, it's about open government and transparency. In 1991, the Government Finance Officers Association established the Popular Annual Financial Reporting Awards Program, and in 2000, this organization awarded Monroe County an award for outstanding achievement in popular annual financial reporting. We're asking to reinstate the PAFR to help increase accessibility to county government and understanding the county's finances. This will help streamline complex information for the taxpayers, and we believe it can be done utilizing the resources that we presently have. As it currently stands, the comprehensive annual financial report is not easily and readily available on the county's website, and hard copies are not readily available to the taxpayers who are interested in obtaining more information about the county's finances. And as it stands, the current comprehensive report is over 100 pages long, whereas the previous editions of the popular report were about 20 pages long and actually could be streamlined even further if we excluded information that wasn't necessarily relevant. Just to put it briefly, again, it's about creating a pathway for the citizens to have access to the county finance. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Legislator Monroe. Is there any further discussion? Legislator Eckel, you have something?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Having come here 5 years ago to this august body, the first time I was faced with a CAFR or a budget, it was a daunting task to understand, to read through and understand exactly what is happening, where the money is going, where is it. I consider myself an intelligent person, and it took me a very long time to figure out how these things work, where the money is, what line goes into where. And it was very difficult to get a handle on what the county, where the money goes in the county. I was very fortunate also to have a very good friend and colleague, Paul Haney, who reads spreadsheets like I read Stephen King novels.
It's a boring life.
Allow me to help me understand what goes on in them and to break them down and to say, okay, look, this is a problem here, or this is where this goes, this is where that goes, and to help me dot the I's and cross the T's. Now, the CAFR itself has two sets of financial statements, which can be confusing, very confusing, and this is under federal regulations as required. That in itself is very hard to figure out. You know, how do these fit together? What happens? The budget is 700 pages. That is an incredible document to go through. We go through it in just under a month, or just about a month every year. And it's a time I really have to prepare for. When my wife, who works for the city council, does the city budget, I don't see her for a month because the same reason. It's a difficult document to go through. The average citizen doesn't have the background that we do, knowing where to look, what to look for, how the numbers move, and where the numbers go. And they don't need to. They shouldn't need to. A PAFR would help the average citizen understand more fully what is happening with the money in the government and where it goes. Where is the money? That's the biggest thing we ever hear. Where is the money? Show me the money. And that, I think, is one very, very compelling reason why we, as a body, should ask the county to create this document, to recreate, if you will, this document, a PAFR, a popular annual financial report, something that can be easily found, something that can be read and understood fairly easily, and then, if need be, refer to the larger documents to get the precise information needed. We have this process in place for many years, and I'm not sure, and I guess I will frame this in the form of a question through you, Mr. Chairman. Why did we discontinue the practice of creating a PAFR?
Through the chair, Scott Adair, the Director of Finance. The PAFR was discontinued following the fiscal year 2003 for one simple fact and reason. When I came into county government as a controller, we were under the new reporting standards under the Governmental Accounting Standards Board Statement number 34, which now required the county government to prepare a management discussion and analysis as part of the financial statements, which was to be reviewed by our external auditors. That section of the CAFR, the management discussion and analysis, is approximately 18 pages long and contains actually more relevant information than the PAFR actually included. And that was the reason why this county, as well as many other governments across this state and across this country, moved away from the PAFR at that particular point in time. That was the simple and sole reason for moving away from this particular document. It's important to note that the PAFR really provided no set standards as to what the level of reporting that required in that particular document. It required no external review. The county government could put anything in the document that they so pleased regarding anything from financial to budgetary to operational, which in case is similar to what is in the CAFR from the management discussion analysis part, as well as the transmittal letter that's in the CAFR, which is another 16-page document that really kind of highlights the operations of the county. And then the third piece of this is really the county executive's summary of the budget, which kind of illuminates to the reader who is interested in the financial information of the county in about 5 or 6 pages as to what the priorities of the county are going to be during the upcoming next fiscal year, as well as the additional challenges that the county faces in the out years, being the 2-year forecast after the budget is adopted.
Any further discussion?
Thank you for your answer. I think I'm done.
Legislator Esposito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Adair, for the description. It's very helpful. Since there's no set standards on what a PAFR needs to be, is there any reason we couldn't take the summary of the budget and the management discussion and analysis that's currently in the CAFR, publish it in an easy-to-read document, and put it on the website, and basically accomplish what we're trying to do so that the public has one thing to go to that's not going to be daunting when they try to download it or access it, that would basically give you the summary that we're all looking for so it's easier to understand the financial status of the county? Through you, Mr. Chairman.
Through the chair, I want to point out one of the comments that Legislator Monroe made earlier that is incorrect. The county's CAFR is available on the county website. It's in the Finance Department's section of information, as well as the budget information is also available on the website in the Budget Department's area. I guess you could do what you're suggesting, Legislator Esposito. I guess the reality of it is the information is available. It was put there in the financial statements for a particular purpose to allow a reader of the financial statements and whomever that may be, what was commonly referred to in the public accounting industry as a Reader's Digest version of what's gone on in the county and what's going on in the county as we move forward. I think that at any point in time you can inundate anyone with as much information or as little information as you want. I believe that the CAFR was put forward with the sentiment or the desire to provide fiscal transparency to anyone that so chooses to go out and read the financial statements. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that there's probably only a handful of people in this room that have actually ever read the financial statements. And that, from my standpoint, is a disappointment, because I do think there's a lot of useful information in a very short period of time that you can get through and glean from what is the financial condition of the county. We talk about the PAFR, and we've talked about it in the past, and in the 6 years or 7 years that we have not produced a PAFR, we've had no request for a PAFR. We used to send it out to all the financial agencies. We used to send it to the library. We used to send it to multiple distribution spots, and nobody was really that interested in reading even the 12 or 14 or 16-page document that it was each year. I believe at this point in time I probably get more calls from, I'll call them colleagues or interested citizens about the county's financial statements, and everyone has found the information that they need to be able to determine what they want as far as where the money's going and how it's being spent. I truly, from a professional standpoint, and believe me, I am not denigrating the Government Finance Officers Association in any way, shape, or form, but I think the PAFR was something that was developed to do exactly what the referral's suggesting in a time frame in 1991 when nothing like that existed. Subsequent to that, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board moved forward to say, hey, our financial statements are missing something. We need to provide that to someone who wants to pick up a single document and wants to look at it, and from the smallest detail to the largest global picture that you can get of government finance is available in one document rather than having 2, 3, 4 documents floating around out there. And I think that GFOA has really, I won't say moved away from the program, but when you look at the numbers of the governments across this country that are involved in the program, it's a very small number at this point in time. I think since GASB's made the transition to GASB 34, there are very few governments. I think there's 3 in New York State that actually still issue PAFRs and are involved in the particular program. One of them being the state of New York is one of them. So I just don't see the need for it. I think it's rather redundant information. It's in the financial statements in great detail, as well as at a very high level from a management discussion and analysis standpoint, where what we refer to as a Reader's Digest version of what just happened this past year in the county, and what do we see in the very near future for the county, and it goes into detail on infrastructure and debt management and so on and so forth, which are areas that the PAFR never even got into, never even contemplated getting into. And I think it would be, I think I've said enough as far as my feelings on the PAFR at this point in time. I just don't think it's an appropriate document for the county to continue to produce.
Thank you. I can't believe people aren't banging down your doors for it. Through you, Mr. Chairman, if I may just make a comment, I certainly agree with most of what you said. I have no doubt that the information, if desired, people can find it. However, and I know Legislator Monroe's comment about finding it on the website, it's not that it wasn't there, it's just that it's not easy to find. And I think the whole point of what we're trying to do here is just make things easier for an average citizen that just wants a quick overview of what the county's finances are to have access to it. In addition to new accounting standards being out there, there's also the internet, which makes things a lot easier to find things. While people may not have come to you for paper copies 10 years ago or gone to the library for it, if it's accessible and readily available on a website, it might be something they take more of an interest in. And it sounds to me like all of the work's being done, and while I don't mean or want to create redundancy just for the sake of creating redundancy, I think a less intimidating document that's available right on the county's homepage is not asking too much, and therefore I urge my colleagues on this committee to vote in favor of this referral. Thank you, Mr.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? No. Motion fails. Next item.
Referral 10-200, confirmation of appointment to the Monroe County Board of Health.
Anybody working over there? Moved by Legislator Howland, seconded by Legislator Adair. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Referral 10-201, confirmation of appointments.
Moved by Legislator Adair, seconded by Legislator Howland. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Motion opposed? We're having a rough time here. Motion carries. Next item.
Referral 10-202, confirmation of appointments to the Monroe County Veterans.
Moved by
Advisory
Legislator
Board.
Howland, seconded by Legislator Adair. Is there any discussion on the motion? I checked to see if it was proper for Willie and myself to vote on this with legal, and it is, because there's no remuneration involved, so we can vote for ourselves on this particular item. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any more other matters to come before this committee? There being no further business, the June 28th, 2010 meeting of the Agenda Charter Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Agenda Charter Committee is scheduled for Monday, July 26th at 5:30 p.m. Thank you.